Hello, welcome to my restorative physical therapy. I'm Dr. Jenny Pruitt, and today we're going to be talking about a snapping hip. So when it comes to a snapping hip or clicking that is happening in the hip, there can be three main sources of that clicking or snapping sound. The first one we call internal, which is typically the hip flexor tendon is rubbing over a bone, the edge of the pelvis to be specific. That second source is intra-articular, which is another way of saying inside the joint. So when we talk about an intra-articular problem, we typically are thinking about like whether or not the labrum is having some trouble, if there's loose bodies, like loose bony bodies in there, or if there's a fracture. And then the third source is external, which is typically the IT band rubbing over the greater trochanter, which is that outer hip bone. So those are the three main sources of clicking in the hip. So internal, intra-articular, and external. When it comes to the snapping hip that I'm talking about now, the one that we can treat in physical therapy well in the clinic, I'm typically talking about types 1 or types 3. So 1 and 3. So either the hip flexor tendon is rubbing on something or the IT band is rubbing on that greater trochanter. Signs that you need to see a doctor are kind of what we've talked about in the past is things that aren't actually what we're trying to treat. So if it's clicking at the hip and it's causing you significant blockage and range of motion, then it's not a classic snapping hip and I would check in with the doctor. Also, if the onset of your snapping hip sensations are from a fall, like you fell onto that hip, I'd want to rule out a fracture first to make sure that physical therapy is safe for you. And then also if you do feel like the leg is buckling or catching on you, that makes you feel like the leg drops out from underneath you, that's another indicator that it'd be best to check in with the doctor first. But those hallmark signs for a true snapping hip that can be treated by physical therapy are snapping, clicking sensations at the hip, and usually they are more annoying than they are painful. So that is snapping hip. So if you're ready and you're looking for some top tips and exercises, you can head on over to the tip sheet now.